Good morning. No, not good morning. Hi, welcome. I'm glad you're here. We're going to talk about Matthew 24 and 25. I'm Emily Trotter. This is Nothing But Fine Bible Talk. And we're going to talk about Matthew 24 and 25. I mean, I'm not going to read it all or any to you. I'm going to give you my thoughts because it's kind of heavy, maybe a little, what's the word? Intimidating for sure, because this is when Jesus is in the on the Mount of Olives, and he is giving what's called the Olivet Discourse, and that's what it's been called because he's on the Mount of Olives. That's where Olivet comes from, and he had left the temple and was walking away with his disciples. Okay, and so they were marveling at as they walked away. The disciples were like, man, the temple, whew, can you imagine? This is beautiful. And Jesus says, I tell you the truth, not one stone here will be left on another. Everyone will be thrown down. And so when they got to the Mount of Olives and they were sitting there, the disciples came to him. This is in verse 3 of chapter 24, and said, tell us, they said, when will this happen, and what will be the sign of your coming and of the end of the age? So Jesus begins to talk to them about the end, meaning when he's going to come back, right? And so these two, it's a lot. And so the end is near, but really, because this was, a while ago that this was written, and he's saying the end is near and it's coming. You have to be watchful and waiting, and yet he's not come back. So the thing is, and the thing that's fascinating to me is it ties in so much to the Old Testament prophets. There are, direct links to Daniel and Ezekiel and even Joel. Did you even know there was a book named Joel in the Old Testament? It's not one that's often mentioned. I don't ever come across it, to be quite honest. And then even Revelation, you see some of these same things, these same themes that are shared in Revelation as well. So and I've read this. Clearly I have studied this before, not studied it, but preachers have preached on it, and I've been in here several times because there are notes all over my Bible in it. But I'm going to tell you, when I sat down and read these two chapters, 24 and 25, I was like, whoa. Head scratcher. It's a lot. It's a lot. And it really makes, and maybe I don't remember it because it makes me nervous because I don't know the answers, right? Maybe that's what it is. And I've got a hair sticking up. I apologize. It's getting on my nerves. Maybe that's what it is, but it's just, as I was reading it, I was like, man, oh man, this is some stuff here. And this is what we all, gosh, I can't tell you how many times. I've been teaching Bible study for, so before the pandemic, before COVID, I started teaching in-person classes at my church, probably 2018. Okay, so about 6 years I've been teaching Bible study. And at first I was like, what do y'all want to study next? And people always say, not just for me, but anytime anybody says, what do y'all want to know about? So many people always say Revelation. You got to teach Revelation. And I always say, no. No, I'm not doing that. There is an excellent, I'll have to find it because my Uncle Chris told me, there's an excellent pastor who does this like overview, quick run through of Revelation that I watched, and I actually spoke about it at his church in one Wednesday night, and it's fantastic. He covers it so well. But the thing that we have to remember is Jesus is coming back. There are going to be things that are hard. There are going to be things that are terrible. There are going to be, there's so many opinions of when Jesus comes back and there's the rapture, When is that going to be? Is that going to be before things get bad on earth, or is it going to be during while things are bad, or is it going to be after? Do we have to? I vote if God is taking a vote, a head count, I want to be raptured before it gets real bad here on earth. And then you even have to say, it's going to get worse. Oh, I think so. I think it's going to get a lot worse than it is, because that's the thing when you're reading this and you're listening to what Jesus is saying about this is what's going to happen. There's going to be lawlessness. There's going to be, earthquakes and fires and pestilences. You're like, we're there now. This is happening right now. It's got to be, Jesus has got to be coming back tomorrow or in the next 5 minutes. He's on his way. But we don't know, right? It says no one knows the day or the hour. Only God knows. So there's no way to know. This is in verse 35. 24:35 says, or 24:36 says, no one knows about the day or the hour, not even the angels in heaven, nor the Son, but only the Father. Okay, and it says, as in the days of Noah, so it will be at the coming of the Son of Man. For in the days before the flood, people were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, up to the day Noah entered the ark, and they knew nothing about what would happen until the flood came and took them all away. That is how it will be at the coming of the Son of Man. Two men will be in the field, one will be taken and the other left. Two women will be grinding with a handmill, one will be taken and the other left. We don't know when it's coming. We don't know. And I think that makes us nervous, doesn't it? We want to have all the answers, but we don't get the answers. And the thing is, God's coming back, or Jesus is coming back. All these other things have to happen. And you say, well, so if we don't know, well, the point is, I think probably this is why it's a little confusing. Because the point is we shouldn't know. And it doesn't matter, because we should be living every day like he could be back any minute, right? We should be living our lives in a way that we want to be caught living. Does that make sense? Because if you just pretend you're little again, or you don't have to, you can... Pretend you're little, or you don't have to. It doesn't matter. But just think about when you were little and your mom left the house and you were at home without any adult supervision. And say she gave you a list of things to do. Say she said, I need you to do X, Y, and Z before I get back. Okay? I need you to get your room cleaned. I need that to be done. I need the trash to go out. Can you do that? And I've given these specific instructions. I don't know that I'm doing a good job enforcing, because here's the thing. This is perfect, because usually you might spend the whole time doing whatever you want, making even more mess, and then you look at your watch and say, oh my gosh, mom's going to be home soon. I got to get going on the things she told me to do. I got to take the trash out, and I got to get my room cleaned up. But if you don't know when she's coming back, you need to get on the stick and get going with it. So that even if you're not done when she gets back, she'll see that you're in process, right? So we never want to be caught doing something we shouldn't do. And we always want to seem like we're ready. And so Jesus tells a couple more parables here. And he says, like the one, where is it? The one about the 10 bridesmaids. It's at the very beginning of 25. And so he talks about the kingdom of heaven will be like 10 virgins who took their lamps and went out to meet the bridegroom. 5 of them were foolish and 5 were wise. The foolish ones took their lamps but did not take any oil with them. The wise, however, took oil in jars along with their lamps. And the bridegroom was a long time in coming, and they had all become drowsy and fell asleep. At midnight, the cry rang out, "Here's the bridegroom, come out to meet him." Then all the virgins woke up and trimmed their lamps, the foolish ones said to the wise, "Give us some of your oil. Our lamps are going out." "No," they replied. "There may not be enough for both of us and you. Instead, go to those who sell oil and buy some for yourselves." But while they were on their way to buy the oil, the bridegroom arrived. The virgins who were ready went in with him to the wedding banquet, and the door was shut. Later, the others also came. "Sir, sir," they said, "open the door for us." But he replied, "I tell you the truth, I don't know you. Therefore, keep watch, because you do not know the day or the hour." That's what Jesus is saying. You have to be prepared. He's telling them, you have to be prepared. You have to pretend that his arrival is imminent. Again, Jesus is speaking with this urgency that you have to pay attention. Back in 24:42, it says, "Therefore keep watch, because you do not know on what day your Lord will come." Keep watch. Keep watch. Be alert. Be expecting it. That's the thing. Be expecting it. Be expecting the Lord to come back, because he will. It might be today. It might be a year from now. It might not be for 100 years, 1,000 years. We don't know. And I've said before, time is it's cyclical, how we work. I mean, things get really, really bad, and then they get better, and then we go, "Oh, okay, well, we're going to make it." It's all the things that we've experienced have certainly been experienced before. There's nothing new under the sun. Like, I always think about, like, when they say, "Oh, this is the hottest day on record." Well, on record. I'm not saying it's not the hottest. It might be, but they haven't always kept records of what the temperature is. Or when they talk about storms in a certain area, whether it be a hurricane or a tornado, they're like, "Well, this is the strongest one we've ever seen that we know of." Right? So everything is cyclical. There's nothing new under the sun. And I think part of the reason it works, because we can't say, "Oh, well, this is happening and this is happening and this is happening." Oh no, because they're fighting in the Middle East. Israel is in it with the Palestinians. Well, when have they not been? Right? When have they not been? We have to stay ready at all times, because we just don't know what's going to happen next. It may be Jesus coming back. And I think this beautiful part in 24, Jesus is saying, wait a minute, it's not in 24. It's in 25, my bad. So it says, "For I was hungry." Well, okay, here we go. So 25:34 starts with, "Then the king will say to those on his right, 'Come, you who are blessed by my Father, take your inheritance, the kingdom prepared for you since the creation of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you invited me in. I needed clothes, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you looked after me. I was in prison, and you came to visit me.' Then the righteous will answer him, 'Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you something to drink? When did we see you a stranger and invite you in, or needing clothes and clothe you? When did we see you sick or in prison or go to visit you?' And the king will reply, 'I tell you the truth, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers of mine, you did for me.'" We have to be acting like we ought to act. We have to be behaving in this way at all times. This is where you never know when you're entertaining angels. And they're going to report back, by the way. Well, they don't have to report back. Jesus is going to see it. They already know. They see it. But you need to be doing that all the time, not just because you think, "Oh, here he comes. I want him to catch me in the act of doing good." Do it all the time. because he could catch you at any moment. In the moment, in the twinkling of an eye, I have a T-shirt that says it. It's a long story. I'm going to tell it because y'all like my stories. So my Uncle Chris was my youth minister when I was growing up. And it's not that I'm not athletic. I'm very coordinated, and I'm okay at a lot of things. Okay, I played a lot of sports and did things. I never played basketball. Well, okay, let's take that back. I did play basketball. I'm terrible at it. I hated every minute of it. But my Uncle Chris was the youth minister, and he said, "Emmy, you have to play basketball." I was in the 7th grade. You have to play basketball, and you have to get all the 7th grade girls to play as well. We need you to be a team, and here you go. You're in charge. Well, they all played. Guess what? They all liked basketball and could play. I could not. The older boys came and laughed at us. Mostly me, I think. I fouled somebody one time. I couldn't shoot. I was fouled one time. Just one time. I was clueless as how to do this game. I still to this day cannot shoot a basketball. My children make fun of me. I'm still being made fun of by boys. Yeah, I couldn't get it to the freak. I couldn't. So I had to do a granny shot, and they all were laughing at me. The parents, the other team, my team, the boys that had come to watch us girls play. I mean, even I was laughing at myself because I was like, I don't want to. I mean, I told them, I was like, that's okay. I don't need to. Can somebody else do it? And the referee was like, no. They were laughing at me. They were like, just do this. I was like, I can't do it. Needless to say, I missed both. Okay. I wish that it had a fun story, a fun ending like I'd made it. But Uncle Chris made us wear these shirts that were feet coming out. Or maybe there were legs and feet leaving a pair of Converse type tennis shoes. And it said, in the moment, in the twinkling of an eye, THBC, Tusculum Hills Baptist Church. And then a number on the back. I found a shirt on, I think maybe Etsy, and I bought it, and I was like, oh my gosh, here is this shirt. I also wore gold Converse with blue laces that were a gift from my best friend's mother. Cynthia Gatlin gave them to me. They were amazing, and I hate myself for getting rid of them. I couldn't wear them now anyway, but fantastic. That's what I looked like. In the moment, in the twinkling of the eye, I digress. In the moment, in the twinkling of the eye, you may be in the middle of a basketball game. You may be taking a horrible granny shot free throw. Jesus is coming back when he's ready to come back, when it's time. No matter what you're doing, in the moment, in the twinkling of an eye, and that's it. Your time's done then. You can't make up. You can't go back. That's it. So what are you going to be doing? Will you be alert? Will you be ready? Will you be like the bridesmaids who had to go, wait a minute, here he comes. I got to go get my oil. No, you won't have time to go get the oil because while you're gone, you're going to have missed it. Be ready. Stay alert. Live like Jesus is coming back today, this evening, this afternoon, tomorrow evening, maybe even early tomorrow morning. Live in a way that you want to be caught living. Remember, Jesus loves you.